Previously, we talked specifically about materials. Now, we're going to look more at the wider environment question to include in early childhood for math and science, and the general guidelines for developmentally appropriate experiences. So that again gets kind of into that environment question. Let's look at these pictures here. When you look at this picture, this is a center. It's very guided. It's very specific. This is inquiry-based, right? Or discovery even. But it's guiding the child to understand magnetism. It's giving the child resources. It draws you in. It invites you to sit and explore. It also provides some parameters. This isn't a get up and move around necessarily activity, although you might find children, as they get done experimenting with the things at the table, start trying to travel around the room with the magnet and explore magnetism around the classroom, which would also be appropriate, right? Here we see the study of owls. So again, drawing the child in, giving them objects, giving them things to look at, giving them pieces of information, defining the space, defining the topic. A third example, pumpkins, defining the space, defining the objects, guiding their attention, drawing them in, thinking about vocabulary. Probably all of this has to correspond with a read aloud. So the teacher has introduced concepts and ideas, and now this is a time to explore and gain more meaning and personal experience with it. I know as early childhood teachers, you're probably amazed at times when children haven't touched the inside of that pumpkin or gotten the seeds. But, a lot of times we stop children from doing things that are quote unquote messy, But and understandably, when your time is limited in the evenings or even on weekends, the idea of having to clean up a mess or clean up a child after digging into a pumpkin, that's a very messy experience, right? So these are understandably restricted. It's not a right or wrong. It's an understanding of why it happens and then allowing for that in the classroom. These first three examples are all science. They're all appropriate ways to introduce a topic, an exploration, an inquiry type of learning on a specific topic. As a math center, I have two pictures here for you to see. When we say centers, we often think an area, a set of shelving, and we think about how to display that, set that up. This first picture, the picture at the top, it's well labeled, it's organized. Kids could help themselves to specific materials and put them back independently. Yes, that is all true. This is also very guided. Notice the difference between this top picture and these science pictures. This says, come, sit down, explore, learn about pumpkins. This says, come grab a tub, we'll see what you get. Think about, when kids are having to select something off that shelf, it's going to take a little bit of time. So you're going to have some flow issues at times. And probably you could likely end up with a lot of situations where children get a tub that they're really not interested in for lots of different reasons. Also, none of it is set up to draw the child in. When the child selects any of these white bins at the bottom that are labeled, they're clearly labeled, they're going to have an idea in their head about what to do with those objects. Where here, those magnifying glasses are laid out, but a pumpkin is already cut. There's picture cards to match. There's a book. And because of how they're displayed, they're inviting the child in and already giving the child ideas of how the child might interact with some of the materials. Now, I know from reading the article, and then if you look really closely in the green tubs, there are cards, there are instructions in those tubs. They're like a game or an activity. So those are very defined. So this center is both close-ended and open-ended, but it does not draw you in. There are a lot of good things here. It's organized. It's labeled with words and pictures. Children can help themselves to the materials. But it does not, what is the failure, the shortfalling of a center set up like that, is it does not encourage the child to use the materials in a particular way. It doesn't help them build complex learning in the setup, in the presentation of the materials. This bookshelf down here, this math center, does a much better job of setting up ideas. I'm going to start at the top, go to the bottom, then the middle. So at the top, you have a book. It's based off of Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. It's Chicka Chicka 1, 2, 3, and here's a tree and a way for them to interact with the story and retell the stories. That's great. That's set up. It draws the child in. The child would know what they were going to do with that, right? The balance scale being by itself also is kind of, it's easy to get to. They know where it's going to go back to. The sorting of the buttons down here with the muffin tin, that space says that's an activity that kind of draws you in. But like a lot of centers, this is how it is put away. But unfortunately, a lot of times we do not set up the center to entice children to learn a particular thing. So in this classroom, what I might do, actually in both of these pictures, the difference is in the presentation when it's actually time for centers and how you might draw children and set them up. So here are your materials in both these pictures, but consider how you could use cafeteria trays or any kind of large tray, or even from liquor stores, the little cardboard flats. Consider how you could use those to contain materials and set them out on the carpet or tables to present activities or exploration. What if the scale was on a tray with several different objects and a little sign? What's heavier? What is lighter? Or how many unifix cubes do each of these weigh? And then you begin, in some ways, yes, that's close-ended. You're trying to get the child to do a certain activity with the objects. But by guiding them down that road, then you lead to further exploration and concept development, and you'll build complexity in their learning, which makes it more intentional and more meaningful. So those are all really important things to consider. Does the center or station encourage the child to explore with the materials? Does the center or station send the child down a closed path? Or are there multiple opportunities and choices to make? Does the center or station provide an opportunity to meet the identified objectives? There's so many objectives available in either one of these pictures. Arguably, maybe too many. That maybe there needs to be more of a focus in the material selection. And then at times we try and push that opportunity or those objectives to in a different way. Or we change the direction. So same materials, but now we're going to explore these objectives, a different set of objectives. Is it encouraging critical thinking and creativity? And does this space draw me in?